Welcome back to day number 16. We're on page 75, and we continue here. The author says, V'gamim telech ba'anava, even if you go in the ways of modesty, humility, v'tamod lihispal ba'arichus, v'salm v'tilmad b'kvius, and you're going to stand there and pray a long prayer. And you're going to learn regular learning. Yifatcha hayetzer lihisgos. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, will try to come and get you to be arrogant. V'yomer l'cha ata haroim. He says, now those who see oscha bnei adam v'yachshavucha v'yichabducha avur derachecha tovim, they're going to try to honor you, and they're going to try to acknowledge your good deeds that you've done here, that you're sitting and learning and you're doing incredible things. And there is a result in great benefit. Because now they look up to you and they're like, wow, a righteous person here. And potentially, because now they see that you're a good person, you're a righteous person, they'll accept when you reprimand them, when you correct their ways. Kol zeh hevel. He says the Yetzer Hara is trying to get to you. This is nonsense. Don't take the bait. The Yetzer Hara is trying to persuade you to do acts of arrogance, so that all these calculations, then if they knew how great I was, then I'll have greater influence. He says this is nonsense. When you do a good deed, you know why you do good deeds? Because the Almighty said so, period. That's why. You do it for Him. That's it. Nobody else. He says, and even if they don't know your good deeds and your good ways, they will accept your words because you're doing it because it's the will of Hashem, because you really care about them. When you're following what the halacha tells us is the best way to reprimand your fellow, to give criticism. Ki ein kabbalas atochecha tluya b'machshavosecha. Don't think that the way to inspire, influence others is because of what you think. Okay? It means we get caught up in thinking, if I do this, then I'll be able to influence people in a greater way. No. It has to do with your commitment and how you serve Hashem. And after you leave this way of thinking, now the Yetzer is going to come with another argument. We said he's going to come to you till death. The Yetzer Hara is going to try to attack you, to tell you, be arrogant, take pride in your work. He says, Lo yitochen shetia avodoscha belev sholem. He says it's impossible for you to do your work with a full heart, with a complete heart, till you completely remove yourself from arrogance. He says, now the Yetzer Hara uses an opposite tactic. He says, you know something? You know how people will accept your status and how you'll really be a righteous person? If you hide everything from everybody. Don't pray a long prayer like a righteous person. Say every word carefully. No. Make it very short. Very short. Right? Don't, when you want to teach something, no. Go into a room alone and learn your Torah. Nobody should know the Torah that you know. Don't share it with anyone. So no, you shouldn't be arrogant. So he's telling you to go the opposite extreme. We know that extremism isn't Judaism. Extremism isn't Judaism in any direction. Ach tire ha'atzlus b'maaseh ha'avoda kedei shelo yetze lecha shum shame v'tafsid schorcha v'lo tetzave al atov v'lo tazhir al minara v'lo todia chochmoscha v'lo telamdo leish zulascha. He says, and nobody needs to know what Torah you know. Nobody needs to know what You don't need to teach it to anybody else. V'lo tira siman yirei shamayim v'lo os. Nobody should know that you're God-fearing. You could go in tefillin u'mezuzah v'tzitzis. El tisnaig b'minhagam v'telech b'darkehem v'tia me'urav imoim b'machol u'b'mishte u'b'chedva u'b'mosrei advarim u'b'rov eschok. He says, just be like a regular person. He says, you don't have to learn appropriately. You don't have to fulfill your mitzvahs appropriately. Just be one of the people. Just be one of the... Again, what's the Yetzer Hara's tactic here? Opposite extreme. Extreme. Run away from everything. So that way people will just think that you're a regular guy. And that's going to be... So you have to hide everything. And in a way, really trying to persuade him to leave the proper way of observance, of connection to Hashem. Kol ze mi inyane hayetzer lilkod bnei adam berishto. He says this is another tactic of the Yetzer Hara, trying to get us to just run away from all of our good deeds so that nobody ever know that we were ever good. Run away from it so that nobody will know. Someone who does this mistakenly for the purpose of running away from arrogance, he says his loss is thousands of times more than his benefit. It's like running away from a small little bonfire into a big massive fire, a big wildfire. He says, but what's the proper way? What's the right way for a person to conduct his life? Pray appropriately. You take the time that you need. You're talking to God. There's no need to rush. Say every word appropriately. He should command himself to the ways of goodness, and warn himself and others from the ways of evil, of the wicked, and do the right thing, whether it's revealed or not revealed. Do the right thing. If people praise you for the good things that you do, you're not losing out. So what? So they praised you. Did you do it for that intention? No. People noticed you did a nice thing, so they're praising you. I remember once, after I was in the former Soviet Union, and I ran many, many programs there, I was very, very excited with the incredible opportunities I had to be with these, children and influence them in the former Soviet Union. It was 1996, 97, 98, 99. And it was really special. It was a special time, and I was very, very dedicated. I remember I went to my grandfather once, and I said to my grandfather, I asked him this question. I said, is it arrogance that people praise me for the things I'm doing? Thank God, Hashem has blessed me to be able to do good things, but people are praising me for it, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that when people acknowledge it, is that arrogance? So my grandfather asked me this question. He said, are you doing it for that? I said, no. He says, that's not a problem. So they're noticing your good actions, your good deeds, and they're acknowledging it. That doesn't mean you're arrogant. But if you put a big banner on your chest, I'm the greatest in the world, I'm the best pitcher, I'm the best hitter, I'm the best quarterback, I'm the best, me, then that would be arrogance. But if other people praise you, you did it for that, you didn't do it for that. You did it to do the right thing. You did it to do the will of Hashem. In that case, you would not be considered arrogant. Lochein, therefore, when you do a good deed, he says, evaluate in your mind, who are you expecting a reward from? Who are you expecting honor from? Who are you expecting to be praised by? If you only want Hashem's praise, that's a perfect deed. Perfect deed. The only thing is I want Hashem to be happy. But if you're only doing it so that other people acknowledge, that people will like on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, people will like what I'm doing, people will acknowledge people, that is impure, and that is something that a person should be concerned about. V'gam tavchin. I will tell you, this is, I know somebody who opened up an institution, and I asked him, when you opened up the institution, what were you thinking? He says, I only want to fulfill the will of Hashem. I want this to be a place that is hashleim zehabinin. It should be a perfection of this edifice that I'm creating. That it should be one that brings Hashem's glory into this world. That's what I want it to be. I said, if that's what you want, I guarantee you it's going to succeed. Because sometimes you have institutions that fall apart because of politics. They fall apart because of all of this different, right? Why? Because maybe it wasn't founded on the right principles, on the right intention. Maybe they wanted so that their neighbors will say, wow, they're doing such a nice thing. Or they, it's so that people can find favor. They can find favor in people's eyes. She says, "V'gam tavchin." Also evaluate. Im ze amasa shetase lifnei ha'olam, im hayisa osa biyachid b'chadre chadorim b'zeh ha'inyan asherata osa b'rabim. He says a person has to evaluate if this action that you're doing right now, if nobody was here and you were all alone in a room, will you do the same action? If you would, im tevar l'cha zeh os masech hashalom. If indeed you would do the same thing, if nobody was here. To me, this is a great example. Okay, so what happens if the class that I teach doesn't have as many people as it normally should have, or as many as I expect, or as many as I would like? Would I teach the same way, with the same passion, with the same focus, with the same intention, as if there was a whole bunch of people? That means nothing should change. Why? Because you're teaching the word of Hashem. So what does it make a difference if it's one person or if it's 100 people? It shouldn't make a difference. It's the word of Hashem. It shouldn't make any difference. All that we mentioned from the evil inclination, Eino ki im tipo bayam neged mashu chayav lehizoher bo. It's not even one drop of the ocean that you have to be cautious of the Yetzer Hara, because he's so sly and he's so cruel. The Yetzer Hara is constantly trying to snatch us and to get us to break away from our path of goodness. Ki b'chol davar, b'chol masa, b'chol mida, ba hayetzel l'shachis u'lekalkel. In every trait, in every action, he's always coming to destroy and to ruin. Ach patachnu petach lahodia inin hayetzel l'mi shelo yoda. We only, over here, the author is saying, I only brought a few examples just so that you understand to what extent the Yetzer Hara. He says, but continue to learn on your own, because it's not so simple. The Yetzer Hara doesn't just shy away. He says, the clean-handed man will increase strength. And this is from Job, chapter 17, verse 9. And this concludes day number 16.